Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm Mr. John, and I've decided to speak on the issue of Anambra State governorship election. It is unfortunate that the Igbos, on one hand, and the entire Nigerians, on the other hand, do not learn from history. That is a big problem. It is a problem because it is through learning from the past that we resolve problems of the past to produce a good result for the future. I could not believe that some group of people from Igbo land, especially Anambra State, those who are involved in this gubernatorial election, based on their profiles, based on where they studied, based on who they are and how people see them before this particular election. Before I go on, we will see what the election is all about and what the environment of Anambra State election is all about. Let us see this now. This is the election of Anambra State. This is the environment of the election that learned and respected Anambra politicians are putting aside to carry out an election in this very environment. Environment in a war-like zone. When you look at this environment, is it an environment where creditable election is to be carried out? But we will go there later. I just want to show you the environment where an election is being held in a state in Nigeria. That is the democracy. That is how the giant of Africa understood the democracy to be. Now, we have to go into what we are going to see. I just want to give you the environment. Now, the proposed Anambra election. People involved in this election are educated. They are graduates from foreign countries. But who are the center point? They are the ethnic elders, the Igbos elites. Other people involved included the political parties and the candidates. who put themselves to vie for governorship election in an environment as if there is war. Well, there is war because they don't understand there is war. There is war between the federal government of Buhari and the eastern states. They have conquered Imo. That is eastern state. It's a battle. But the Igbos are seeing it as politics. The political parties are seeing it as politics. The people who appear to understand the game are being castigated as enemies of the people. No. The elders have aims. The politicians and the governors have aims. Their aims are not for the masses. Their aims are for themselves. We have to tell the truth. I have never seen any part of the world where a state is under operative destruction, attacks, and they are still insisting there must be election. Let us see what the elders are saying. Who are the elders? And who's supposed to guide the people? Now, going further, let us see the man considered to be at the center point. The man seen as their problem. Well, history has shown that any man that advocates for betterment of his people, for right structures to be put in place for the people, for people's right to be recognized, is always termed as an enemy. That is truth. There is no other truth than that. That is the man with the white garment, where the sunlight is radiating and the light wants to shine on everyone, but those in power want to block it with darkness. That is the problem. But can that cause the federal government to pull all operative agents, the military, DSS, police, and all other agents into a state to enforce election? Now we will recap and see things that has happened in the past. Now, in recapping, we see Ado Ekiti, we see Ekiti State, we see Ekiti election. Ekiti State election should have been a very big lesson in the modern times to political parties like PDP. ADC, APGA. It could have been a very big lesson. But because we are blindfolded and our hearts blocked, even when good things are coming, because we have blocked our mind, we refuse to see things in advance. We refuse to recognize danger. We refuse to use the past to judge the present. Last 2 years, Ekiti State held an election. We remember newspapers writing that Buhari ordered the military to ensure that Ekiti State goes to APC. Our eyes were open. We saw everything. The politicians, the people in other political parties saw it, but they never believed that it will take place. They were jumping up and down that they have the governor in control. But they refused to realize one thing. Buhari, who is the APC president, is a military man. He participated in 1966 coup that removed Aguiyi. He carried out coup that removed President Shehu Shagari. He laid a principle that killed and chased out many politicians, including journalists. Abuse of right was recorded. Yet, they believed he is going to do election with them. Ekiti was the first trial when he came to power. What happened in Osho? The use of military was recorded. DSS. You remember DSS? It's a new name, but it's NSO, controlled by the former head of state, Muhammadu Buhari, who is now the present-day civilian president, still controls the renamed NSO, now called DSS. For those who were in the country and who had the experience and who saw the coup of 1983 December and what preceded in January 1984, would recall now that is the same system, military, police, everywhere, NSO, people disappearing. Has the system changed? When Goodluck was ruling, was it so? The system, was it full of military involvement? No. It's a civilian regime. But it's not the same now. It is not the same now. Now, going back to Adekiti, Fayose was the governor of PDP. What happened to him during the time the election started? First, the last week of electioneering campaign, what happened? They used military and DSS and police to chase out or disperse the party members of the governor. At campaign rally, they were dispersed. They were doing it for their own advantage. During the election day, what happened? They surrounded the state house of Fayoshe. They were shooting, military men, police, everything. They were shooting at him as if they were carrying out coup. And it was a coup. People don't understand. We only regret and try to go to court after the event must have taken place, but we don't take action before the event. We refuse to understand the game before the event. Everybody wants to win. Yes, your intention is that you are going to win, but you have to realize whom you are battling with. You are battling with a man who started his life with a gun. You have to realize that it is not as you see it to be. Now, what happened to Fayoshe? When it was stated that President Buhari ordered secret operations to take place in Ekiti, what do you do? Now the event took place. Ekiti was lost by the PDP. And they saw the issue when it was coming. They insisted they want to carry out and do election. We must do the election. It has to be done. Now you will realize the effect after the election. Fayoshe with neck injury. In a tweet, he stated Ekiti 2018 happening now at Ado Ekiti state government. At Ekiti state government, the security operatives on the instruction of President Muhammadu Buhari has taken over government house. That is cool. Because what has the president to do with the state house? We all live abroad. We see how elections are being conducted. But it's a coup. Any state they identified for their own interest, they move the security operatives in that very state. They first and foremost, they will cause confusion. They will use the DSS and the police to cause confusion, create anarchy. Then they will move in. That is when we carry out a program on how some areas where Buhari has interest, the governors or the president of the world whom he relates with, you see what happens in those states or in those countries and compare them with what is happening in Nigeria today. So at the end of the day, the governor had his neck broken. He had a gunshot. He had a slap from operatives who supposed to be guiding him even as a governor. But they turned back because authority is coming from the military president who is carrying out state coup. That is how it is moving. Now, going back to Ekiti, by the time the election was finished, what happened? PDP believed that they own the state house. You own the state house, but you don't own the military. You don't own the police. You don't own the NSO or the DSS. You don't own anything. That is what goes on in a system that is undemocratic. Militocracy is even better. I heard of one man describing the system in Nigeria as militocracy, which was first mentioned by Zik in 1983 and also in 1978 when they were debating the type of system they were to use. to adopt, whether they are going to adopt militocracy or they are going to adopt democracy, presidential system, or parliamentary system. We have to understand that is where we are in trouble in that very, very country. Those whom you think are knowledge enough to realize what is going on do not know. Their mind is fixed. Fixed on what? Money they will get for their own personal use and their family, the ego they want to show, not the interest of the people. That is why people are being sold. Since then has Fayose been known again? He has gone quietly and played his politics calmly within his own party. That is one example. You see Buhari jubilating after kicking the man down, breaking his operatives, breaking his neck, and the result announced by his own fellow brother, who is the INEC chairman. Has anything happened? No. He has piped down. The new man has taken over and does what he wants him to do. Now, for the Igbos, I bring you back again. We have this issue. We don't learn. That is why we don't progress. Progress does not mean that you have money in your own personal house, or your father is rich, or you are rich. You are worth of 1 billion, 500 million, 5 million, whatever million you may think. That is not it. What Western world regards as development, what they think that is development, is different from what we, the Africans, regard as development. Income per capita in each Western world means a lot. Welfare of the people means a lot. Health of the people means a lot. Infrastructural development nationwide, not selective, means a lot. That is what our politics shies away from. We want to do one-man business, one-man show. Now, let us go back to the Igbos. Igbos, they never remembered what happened during the Biafran time. Those who witnessed or who were listening to what happened in 1966, with Philip Radio, you listen, put your ears, people gather and be listening to all announcements. We remember what happened. We entered into a war. The man that is president of Nigeria was part and parcel of the war. He was among those who revenged, believing that the coup was Igbo coup, and they decided to fight to revenge, to kill back. Has it gone out of his mind? No. When you look at the pictures, you will find what happened. See Nigerian soldiers marching. See the massacre in Delta State, where Zogo came from. See people carrying their loads, running. He was part and parcel of it. He participated. There is no reconciliation. There was no forgiveness. There was no dialogue. If the entire country after the war had come together to speak, the reconciliation, it was mentioned by Gowan. No Igbo man was there to voice his anger, to say this is how we are going to move forward. But you heard what was written in a paper. Did Gowan carry it out? Did Muhammad Mohammed carry it out? Did Obasanjo carry it out? Did Buhari carry it out when he came back as a military head of state? Did Babangida do so? Did Abacha do so? Did Absalami do so? It's time you start working with your brain. Now, you never remembered all this. And you are repeating the same mistake again. Let us go further. Let's go back to Anambra election in 1983, between July, August, and what happened in September. Between Ono of MPN, which many people then regarded as offshoot of Northern People's Congress, headed by Shehu Shagari. What did they do? And what did they do in Anambra State? They came back, they set Ibrahim Tahir, who was at Presidential Hotel in Enugu. There they operated on Jim Wobodo, took away the governorship from him, where Zik came from. They gave it to Ono and marched on it. When it was coming, Jim Wobodo did not believe it will come. He was busy campaigning without putting down strategy to close the loopholes. At the end of the day, he went to court. And what was the outcome? Nothing. Nothing. And we are back to it again. I won't mention that of Imo State because there was no election. They installed him because they have the power. It's a military coup against the man who won the election. It's a military coup. Buhari carried out another military coup in Imo State. And that is why when you agree with them to no matter whatever that they will defend you, they take you take the blood of a goat, cow, sheep, whatever that is, all animals being reared in the north, they mix it and give to you. And they use the band on their head. Then you agree. You can kill anybody, it doesn't matter, because you are under oath. Now they are back. We never remembered all this. Jim Wobodo lost Enugu, Anambra State then, to Ono. Which party? A party headed by a Northerner, who was the president. They came down to Imo State. Some repaired them. It was K. Ombadi who was a frontier. They did, the man of timber and caliber, he did everything, but some was able to repair and stand back as the governor. That is it. Now we are coming down to the people of high reputation. Charles Soludo. It is true, he is a first-class student, made meritorious result. blessed in his endeavors, his thinking, his intelligence. Can be reckoned with. But wisdom is the key to everything. We are all educated. We all went to higher institutions, universities, had degrees, but it's not a measure to life. You have a different wisdom. God has given that gift, wisdom. You may be intelligent. Yes. You may be a good crammer. Because when we were also in the school, we had many good students who made first class, crammed. They can cram and quote everything. But can you, that is conventional, can you translate? Translational system is what rules the world today. We move from conventional chemistry to applied chemistry. Now to translational. You moved from engineering work, just reading theory, which is known for Nigerians. But youths today are translating all these things without even studying so much. They look at materials, they build them, and these things work within the level of their own wisdom and intelligence. I never believe this. Soludo has been a man of high reputation. He was from his profile, a deputy governor or governor of a central bank. He has been a visiting professor in England, America, and has had other international connections, including within the UN. But you saw the first video I played. Will you believe that a man who is a visiting professor in America, England, will involve himself in trying to do election in this environment? If you go back to your classroom and tell your students that you participated in an election, and they say, what type of election? They play the video themselves and say, Professor, we welcome you, but you don't represent what you are. Because you could have been the first person to opt out and say, I will not participate in any election based on this environment. But he absorbed it and put in himself. He is working, he thinks as an Afghan man with Obiano that he's going to win. No, it's unfortunate. You all will go to court when they pronounce the APC man as the governor-elect. Shagari did it before. It is still in the Anambra. It's coming back again. You people are not thinking. The best way you could have done is to absent yourself and say, no, we will have to create good environment. Now the people will select whom they want and put the person there based on credibility. But you are under military occupation. You think you are going to win? Let us see. Unless Obiano is so strong enough to wage on your behalf. Otherwise, you will see when the result comes out. We will see. You studied outside in Nigeria, but you had so much contact with foreign countries that practice democracy, and you never learn how to follow their steps. Now we have another prominent man, Senator Anambra. Senator Anambra is a Nigerian senator. According to his profile, he studied in US and also lived in US before he returned to Nigeria. Perhaps by the time he was there, he must have had the opportunity of seeing election in United States, in any of the states. Where he lived, there must be governorship election. In the entire country, there would have been presidential election. Do you think where you must have lived in that United States and you see that the citizens of the state will see a heavy military involvement, presence, fighting, killing people, irrespective of what must have motivated that? The police inspector general cannot come out, be directed by the president to go and do everything to make sure that that election, even if it means killing everybody, make sure that that election holds. The military chief of army staff go there, kill everybody, make sure that whosoever that resists, even the people they don't come out, you do everything to ensure that vote is counted. Is that the type of democracy you learned from America? Presidential system. Or the type of democracy you studied in the school, at least in the primary school, for those of us who learned government from primary school to secondary school, this. Is that the type? Senator Oba, I am disappointed that despite your experience outside the country, especially in the seat of democratic government, United States, you came back, you people are happy, jubilating to vote within this very chaotic environment. Well, it's unfortunate. I never believed this. I thought you could, coming out to mix up or to interact with foreign countries, other foreign students, states that are developed, states that practice democracy, you could have learned something different. But unfortunately,